Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us for the session. So this is the fourth session of ShE-roes Unplugged, which is an initiative under the ShE-commerce umbrella, where you get a chance to connect with e-commerce leaders, hear their journeys, and leverage their learnings and expertise. I'm Preeti Bhaskaran. I'm part of the corporate partnerships team at Aspire for Her, and I'm joined here by my colleagues Pooja Kanwar, also part of the corporate partnerships team, and Farisha TP, manager operations. From the Myntra team, we also have Pooja Godke, deputy director human capital, and Hema Pachisia, senior director human capital, who will be moderating today's panel discussion, and she will be in conversation with our esteemed panelists, Pallavi Mohadikar, CEO and founder PALMONAS, and Dhruv Toshniwal, CEO and founder the Pant Project. A warm welcome to all of you panelists. And before we begin, there are a couple of housekeeping rules for the event. We request you to kindly keep yourselves on mute during the session. We will definitely give you the opportunity to interact with the speakers and ask your questions. That will be towards the end of the session. And you can put down your questions for the speakers in the Q&A section. We request you to participate in the polls. We are having a couple of poll questions. We would like to get to know you a little better. And do stay on till the end because there's an exciting quiz that is coming up. There's also an opportunity for gaining mentorship from some of our leaders here. And now we have a poll coming up. So requesting all of you to participate in the poll and requesting Farisha to please launch the poll. So we would like to know which community do you belong to? Are you a student? Are you a working professional? Somebody is on a career break, a leader, an entrepreneur, or any other category? Also, why is it that you chose to join the ShE-commerce community? Is it because you're looking at learning and upskilling, employment internship opportunities, entrepreneurship opportunities, you would like to be mentored, or any others? So requesting all of you to kindly participate enthusiastically. We'll keep the poll on for a few more seconds. So it's great to see a lot of students here today afternoon. Also some working professionals. And most of you are looking at upskilling opportunities as well as employment and internship opportunities. That's great. Another 2-3 seconds and then we can close the poll, Farisha. All right, I think we can close the poll. Thank you all for participating so enthusiastically. Moving on a little bit about the ShE-commerce community. This is a special collaboration between Myntra and Aspire for Her and was launched in June of 2024. ShE-commerce is a platform dedicated to empowering individuals, especially women who are in or aspiring to be in the e-commerce industry. And our mission is to build a strong, supportive network where we can learn from each other, uplift one another, and grow together. We are happy to share that we are now a vibrant community of 15,000 plus, which includes both men and women and is growing. Over the past year, we've rolled out several exciting and impactful initiatives like SHE Sparks, which is a program designed exclusively for students to learn from industry leaders, understand the trends and opportunities for internship at Myntra. Sponsored visits to the Myntra headquarters. It's part of a day in a life of series wherein members get a hands-on exposure to how one of India's biggest fashion platforms operates. We also have Min Shakti, which is a fast-track onboarding program that helps women entrepreneurs list and grow on the Myntra platform. And of course, ShE-roes Unplugged, which is a series that gives you a chance to interact with inspiring leaders and entrepreneurs, learn from their journeys, and ask your questions to them directly. Together, these programs are helping us create a community where opportunities, learning, and inspiration flow freely. With this, I would like to introduce our esteemed panelists for today. Our first panelist for today is Dhruv Toshniwal. Dhruv is the co-founder and CEO of the Pant Project, a fast-growing D2C apparel brand redefining how India buys pants. Backed by his family's 4-decade textile legacy and a Wharton education, he blends deep manufacturing expertise with a modern consumer-first approach. Since launching the brand in 2020 to solve his own challenge of finding the perfect fit, Dhruv has built a rapidly scaling business known for custom-made trousers, innovative fabrics, and a seamless digital experience, all driven by his focus on product excellence and technology-led retail. A warm welcome to Aspire for Her, Dhruv.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Really looking forward to this session. And our next esteemed panelist for today is Pallavi Mohadikar, founder of PALMONAS. Pallavi began her entrepreneurial journey with Karagiri, a leading handcrafted sari brand, which she successfully built and exited. Passionate about craft and design, she launched PALMONAS to make luxury jewelry more accessible. Her focus on quality, purpose, and everyday elegance shaped India's first demi-fine jewelry label. Her motto, luxury shouldn't be a privilege, it should be a choice anyone can make. A warm welcome once again to you, Pallavi, to Aspire for Her.
Thanks. Thank you, Preeti. Very, very excited to be here and looking forward to interact with all of you.
Awesome. And last but not the least, we have our moderator for the panel discussion today, Hema Pachisia, Senior Director, Human Capital at Myntra. She's a very well-known face to our community, and her passion for driving change and inclusion has been a key force behind the growth of the she-commerce community. A warm welcome once again, Hema, and over to you to take over the panel discussion. Thank you.
Thanks, Preeti, and thanks once again to Pallavi and Dhruv for taking out time from their busy schedule, especially given the I must say the jazz around Pink Friday, Black Friday. I'm sure both of you are really caught up with the sale events because my Instagram is bombarded with all these Friday sales, and I'm really excited because I am a e-com shopper. I mean, Myntra happens to be my company where I work, but it's also my destination of choice because even before I became a Myntra employee, I've been an avid Myntra customer. So thank you for joining us and a big thank you to everybody who's joined in. I can already see some 300, 400 people logged in. So it means a lot for us that you took out time to attend the session, and we hope through the conversation today, everybody gets something that is relevant and for you to apply in your personal professional life. So really appreciate people joining in the call today. Without much further ado, I mean, we'll jump into the questions. We have carefully crafted a set of questions which helps us understand our panelists better about their career choices, about deeping dive into the founders mentality, and then we also have some questions. Given majority of the participants who have joined us are students, so we will also look at this opportunity to see if there is any inputs for them, and of course the chat is open for Q&A. So my first question actually is going to be common both for you and Dhruv and Pallavi. And Pallavi, maybe you can start first. Is just a little bit
Sure.
about you, your journey, okay, and what were growing up years like for you?
Sure. So, Hema, I'm from a very small town called Nasik. I studied in Nasik. My high school was done in Nasik and then went to COEP Pune. Post that, went to IIM Lucknow, studied marketing at Lucknow. And then worked with Goldman Sachs for the period of 9 months. Figured out this is not for me, and then quit and started my entrepreneurship journey. My grandfather was a weaver. He used to weave tussar silk saris. So growing up, I always saw him struggle monetarily to make money, and I always used to wonder, these weavers and artisans of India, they have immense talent and they create wonders, but why don't they get paid enough? So I started Karaveri. Karaveri was India's first digital-first sari brand. We started in 2017 with 5 weavers, 50 designs, grew it to almost 2,500 weaver families across India, and 15,000 designs of saris on the website, and sold the brand to Mensa brands. Um, After that, again, the entrepreneur Kida started tickling, right? What next? Wanted to do something in fashion space. That's what I know. That's what I've been doing all my life. Of course, D2C. And then stumbled upon this category called demi-fine jewelry. One of my friend traveled from the US and got me a pendant from an international demi-fine jewelry brand. When I saw it for the first time, I thought it's actually gold. And I asked her, why did you get such an expensive gift for me? And then she said, it's not expensive, it's very fine. And it was a groundbreaking invention for me, because I thought I want like a lot of these pieces now. And when I went on the internet, I searched for it. I figured there is not even a single brand selling demi-fine jewelry in India. The demi-fine jewelry category did not exist at all. And that was my aha moment. And then started working on PALMONAS since 2022. Been 3 years, amazing journey. Would love to talk about it more during the session. Um, yeah, I mean, that's what my life has been so far.
No, it's very inspirational, Pallavi, and thank you for sharing that. Dhruv, over to you. Same question.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Nice to meet you all virtually. So I'm Dhruv, born and raised in Mumbai. Been a Bombay boy through my childhood. Family is originally from Rajasthan and come from a family that's been in textiles for almost 50 years now. So really grew up around the mill, spent all of my summers seeing fiber, fabric, weaving, stitching. It's been really in our blood since we were very, very young and very passionate about it. I studied finance at Wharton. I think always wanted to do dhanda. And growing up, my mom used to call me Mohinji, always sort of counting, been good with numbers. So I think finance is great training for any business that you want to run. And spent 4 years at Wharton and then 4 years in the US and Latin America working at different financial services firms. I think it was useful to get professional experience before coming back to India. Joined the family business for 3 years. That's a B2B manufacturing entity, and worked across supply chain, business development with global brands like Marks and Spencer, Uniqlo, H&M, Levi's, Calvin. And I think that's when I realized India really needed a new age digital native brand that served really high quality pants. You know, struggled to get really good fitted ones myself. I think a personal passion is sports. And when you play a lot of sports, you end up with thighs that look like thunder thighs. So always struggle to get pants that fit really well. And I felt like the US had brands like Bonobos that would focus on fit. I think in India there was a gap where had a chance to build a brand with really high quality global product. And also from a marketing perspective, something that appealed to the younger audience. I think when we moved back and we'd ask our friends where they'd shop, they'd name all of the legacy brands, but with sort of reluctance, like we're buying it because we don't have a better option. And so we felt there's an opportunity here to build something fresh and young. And it's been 5 years, been building the brand with my brother. And I think we've stayed largely to date a menswear brand, but I think the women's wear opportunity is extremely large and interesting too. I think apart from work, if you had to ask me, the thing that's most important to me is obviously family and wife and 16-month-old daughter are probably the two things that are most important to me outside of work.
Thanks, Dhruv, for sharing. And as I can see, both you and Pallavi have something in common, the kida of, entrepreneur and finding those white spaces and then trying to solve for it. And we will deep dive into this a little further. So the next question, Dhruv, is for you. You, of course, it's a highly disruptive brand, and it's a space which is also now we see a lot of entrants. Uh, in such a scenario, in such an industry, how do you generally approach idea generation, right? Like you said, one of the things was you yourself experiencing that you don't have a lot of options. But apart from that, how do you really generate ideas in such a disruptive market? Is there a method? Is there a framework?
Yeah, honestly, it's not like the Pant Project was our first retail idea. We didn't stumble upon success immediately. We had a couple of ideas before this. And 2017, we launched something in sustainability for the Indian customer. And the idea was to do something like Evelyn, direct manufacturer to customer, eco-friendly clothing. And I think we realized it was a little early for India, 2017, 2018, maybe still early for a brand at scale, at sustainability as the core. I think after that, we tried something in the wedding wear space, and we said, can we do something a little bit above Manyavar, below designer brands? And we realized we really don't have any moat or right to win over there. Our supply chain is better geared to men's dress up and smart casual clothing. So I think when you come to idea generation, it's a lot of tinkering. I think we knew we wanted to do something in apparel, and we had a few guidelines. It has to be a large market. It has to be something that has a high customer loyalty and repeat rate. It has to be something with manageable inventory, certain business criteria. But from a passion to opportunity statement, I think you just look at where do you see a market opportunity. I think the biggest feedback on it, the reason we stuck with the Pan project as an idea is 6 months into the Pan project, we started seeing 30, 40, 50% of customers coming back and shopping with us again. And that's when you know you have a good idea. I'd say keep trying different ideas till you get repeat customers. When you get repeat customers, you know you're onto something. So that was the first idea out of the three where we just had a lot of customers coming back saying, we love your pants, we want to buy more.
I think we lost Hema.
Hema, are you there?
Okay, so I think adding to Dhruv's point, right? It's your customer who gives you like tons of idea day in day out. The very reason we started offline expansion very early on in the journey of PALMONAS was because we wanted to stay very close to the customer and understand what customer wants. To start with, we found demifine jewelry is a category with a huge opportunity that India is looking for, right? And you start building on it. But what matters is what your customer wants, what kind of designs they want, what kind of price points they are, very very happy to buy at. So I think listening to the customer is something like Dhruv said is something that gives you more growth levers during your journey.
Sure. Thanks, Pallavi. I'll probably take the next question till the time Hema joins in. My question is,
Hema's back.
oh, she's back. Okay.
No, I'm back using Pooja's laptop. I was just joking with Dhruv and Pallavi before the session started that, technology is something, especially internal technology is what is absolutely unpredictable. It goes off at the most wrong moments. Despite all the preparation, okay, my call just got disconnected. But we always find a way out to
Yeah.
come back. So, well, you may see the screen name Pooja, but I hope everybody recognizes it is Hema. So, okay. But thanks. I was able to listen to what Dhruv and Pallavi mentioned. Actually, now I go back to, a different kind of a question, which is more because we have a lot of students and budding entrepreneurs, etc. They'll be very curious to know, and like both of you mentioned, right? The first idea was may not always be a hit. There are many hits and misses, right? Is there any common mistake or any mistake that our entrepreneurs often make, and have you made any mistake and learned from it and then came back stronger? So maybe Pallavi will start with you and then Dhruv, because I think this is a common question that most of you must be getting, because entrepreneurship is a lot of risk and a lot of reward, but I'm sure you also made many mistakes along the way, hopefully not many of you. Anything that you want to share to fit folks on the call?
I feel you cannot be an entrepreneur without making a mistake. Okay, you learn from your mistakes and then you know what is right thing to do. Like Dhruv said, even PALMONAS is technically my third startup. So my first startup I started when I was in Lucknow. So Lucknow is very famous for chicken curry art form. And as a student, I was very curious, how the whole e-commerce world works, because back in 2012, e-commerce wasn't that prevalent as it is today, right? So I just procured basic chicken curry sarees from market, got them shot on myself, on my friends, and then I listed on eBay.com. So through that limited experience, I felt running a marketplace is a very easy thing to do. So when I left Goldman Sachs, I first tried to create my own marketplace for weavers and artisans of India. It used to be called Indofetch back then. I ran it for 2 years, and I realized, it needs a lot of money to run a marketplace, and maybe this is not the right model for me. The thought is right to brand all the weavers and artisans and their arts and crafts on one platform, but maybe the model was wrong, and hence we pivoted to Karaveri, which is the brand model, which was a brand model, and we were profitable from day one. So I think unless you execute things, you don't understand where you're going wrong. So always like getting your hands dirty is the only option to maybe excel in life. So make a lot of mistakes, learn from them, and try not to repeat them again. So that's what my mantra has been in, in life in general.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Pallavi. Dhruv.
Yeah, I'll add to that a few types of mistakes I see. Firstly, the mistake of being in the idea box forever. I see a lot of people come to me 5 years later, they're still thinking, kya shuru karu? You can be thinking forever. There's never a brilliant idea. You have to start somewhere. I think the second thing with starting is starting and buying in apparel, at least, a common mistake, too much inventory without validating the product with your customer. I've seen thousands of apparel brands die because they just buy stock and can't sell it, and then cash flow is a major issue. So I would say validate your product with your customer before you double down and buy a lot of inventory. And I think if there are a lot of students and entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs here, I think a big way to avoid a lot of common mistakes in startups is to potentially get some experience in startups in the space that you want to start at. So it's very useful if you want to start an apparel startup to work with a founder in a founder's office and learn the ropes before you dive in yourself. I think for entrepreneurship, it's a journey for everyone, and some people hit it out the bat without ever having professional experience and just born entrepreneurs sort of do it right the first time. But more often than not, you can increase your odds of success and have an unfair advantage right to win by knowing the industry and space better than others. And easy way to do that is just join a high growth company within that space.
Yes, thanks, Dhruv. Yeah, I mean, since we have a lot of budding entrepreneurs, students, etc., Myntra is as high growth as you can. Of course, feel free to apply to us and join. Always a space for good talent. Uh, I'm actually shifting gears and trying to cover as many topics and themes as we can. Uh, of course, entrepreneurship is risk, high reward, but it is also something that you have to do everything on your own since you scale, you start up. Uh, Burnout, exhaustion can be real challenges, right? Especially because it requires you to possibly be doing everything on your own, especially if you're starting up, right? Anything, any suggestions, tips, how do you deal with burnout, exhaustion? Do you think it is real? If it is, how do you deal with it?
I
Anybody,
think
Dhruv,
it's
maybe you?
absolutely.
Yeah, Pallavi, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I'll start. I think it is absolutely real, and every founder goes through that journey because in that 0 to 1 phase, you're very like, you don't want to spend a lot of money hiring, a lot of people in your team. So you try and do everything yourself, right? Every founder goes through that journey. And I feel as soon as you have visibility of the growth, I think the first thing that you should start doing is hire the right team. Start delegating day-to-day tasks so that you can focus on more of strategic calls and strategic decisions and where your company is growing, right? So I think that was one mistake that I did in Karagiri where I did not start hiring early. And I actually experienced what Hema just mentioned, right? You feel like you're everywhere and things are just like stuck. But at Palmonas, I think we started with hiring the right team, and I actually could feel tremendous difference in terms of the way we grew, in terms of how healthy it was for everybody in the team as well. And it was an enjoyable experience. So I think delegation at early stage could be a solve for maybe a potential burnout in the journey.
100% agree with
Thanks,
Pallavi.
Pallavi.
The
Dhruv.
team makes all the difference. She's spot on, and it changes your life to have a really competent management L2 team. I think just to add a couple of other aspects on the burnout, I try to recharge with sports. That's a passion. And so keep your passions going even though you're an entrepreneur. I try to play paddle now a couple of times a week, and that really helps. I think the other is time with the family is always great to recharge. And in terms of mindset, one big shift as an entrepreneur was I've stopped coming to office and thinking, what do I feel like doing today? I think the question I ask is, regardless of how I'm feeling, what does the company, what do my customers, what do my employees need me to do today? And what are some relevant problems I have to solve? And every Monday at 9:30, do I feel super excited? Well, some Mondays, yes, and some Mondays not so excited. But do I turn up? Yes, I turn up every single Monday. And so I think that changes as a mindset when you become an entrepreneur, because you have the weight of, customers, employees, partners, suppliers, everyone sort of relying on you to show up. So I think that mindset shift definitely helps dealing with burnout. The concept just sort of integrates into work-life integration as opposed to work-life balance.
Great. And thanks, Dhruv and Pallavi. I think hiring the right team, having the right set of people. And I think sometimes even accepting it is a real problem. A lot of us don't want to accept, and recharging and finding ways in which you rejuvenate and find your ways of coming back to work more refreshed. So thank you for sharing that. Now, next question, Pallavi, I'll go to you. You, of course, as a female founder in the D2C space, was there anything different you faced? Now, this is something that I hear often, but I don't know how much of truth is there. Do you see there is any kind of a difference when it comes to male and female founders? And especially when you started this journey, did you feel that there were any challenges which were unique or maybe slightly more challenging for you as a female founder, or you felt it was not much of a difference?
Honestly, I don't think there are any particular specific challenges for being a female founder in the economy or in the ecosystem. But I think there are certain challenges which are maybe biological challenges, right? Like Dhruv mentioned, I also have two babies. My girl is 4.5 years old, and my boy is 1.5 year old. And like we were discussing, going into investor meetings, taking a 10-day-old boy was something that I had to do and I had to manage. So apart from those kind of challenges, I think the world has been very, very fair. But irrespective whether you're a female founder or a male founder, there are like tons of challenges that you have to go through, right? And the first, for me at least, I belong to a very traditional Maharashtrian middle class family, and for my family, they didn't know what starting off means. Okay, but when I got placed with Goldman Sachs in IIM Lucknow, like, everybody was at the top of the world because I was the first one to go out, study, and maybe grab such a high paying package. And when I told my parents that, you know what, I don't want to join Goldman Sachs, I want to sell saris, and my mom was like, सारी ही बेचना था तो आई एम लखनऊ जाने की क्या जरूरत थी. So the first challenge was to make them understand what I want to do, right? That's where the journey starts from. And but yeah, I think that's the fun of the journey. So irrespective of whether you're a female founder or male founder, I think these challenges are very much part and parcel of your life, and that will make your journey more memorable and more beautiful.
Awesome. Thanks, Pallavi, for sharing. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people on the call will relate to it, right? Sometimes these are perception and stereotypes we build in our mind and not so much in reality. But Dhruv, you are also father to a 16-month-old. So I'll flip the question. How do you balance responsibilities at home, right? And uh, who changes diaper, who takes care of the baby, or who takes, the household responsibilities? Like, I'm sure everybody on the call will be interested to know with your schedule, how are the household responsibilities divided or managed?
Yeah, I'm nowhere near a superwoman, superman like Pallavi is. Funny backstory is, my wife had actually met Pallavi. She was an investor at Sharp Ventures when she had a 10-day-old baby. And I think that's just hats off to Pallavi as an entrepreneur. Showing up with a 10-day-old baby to a pitch is insane. I think, modern parenting, both parents are fairly involved. And so I love every moment I get with my daughter. And I try to be as hands-on as I can. I think as an entrepreneur, one thing that's distinct is you have a lot of freedom and responsibility at the same time. And so you can be flexible with your schedule and agenda, but it also means that you're always on. And so I like to start my days early. I'm usually up at like 5 in the morning, and I try to get a lot of my email and work along with my meditation done before 6 or 7, before my daughter's up, before my family's up. I think those 2 hours in the morning are super critical to setting the rhythm for the rest of the day, at least personally. And in terms of challenges, I think each individual, each entrepreneur, each business has its unique challenges. I think it's about keeping those at work as much as you can. And when you're home with the family, just try to keep your phone away and just try to be present. I think that's the hardest thing to do, because if you look at your phone, there's going to be 100 things distracting you. I think 100 people, 100 important to-dos dragging you away. So it's just about trying to be present while you are there. It's not also always about just the quantity of time you can spend, it's the quality of it that you can spend with your family. And I think sometimes 30 minutes, an hour without a phone is better than 3 hours half there, sort of texting and doing other things.
Great. Thanks, Dhruv, for sharing. I personally will take that as a piece of advice. I have a 4-year-old daughter. I struggle to keep my phone away from her. And when I am there, like you said, there are like at least 100 WhatsApp messages or emails that we are always looking at. But thank you for sharing. Now I'll ask not really fun questions, but questions which are not necessarily related to your entrepreneurial journey. I think Dhruv, you already mentioned what keeps you busy in your off time. I'm assuming your child and a game of paddle. Is there anything else that you also enjoy outside of these two?
Enjoy going out with friends and family, a foodie, so love to eat. Any good new restaurants, always happy to try them.
Thanks. Um, for you, Pallavi, is there a movie character or a movie that you think would resonate the most with you as a person or your life story?
I love the movie called The Intern. And I think I relate to Anna Hathaway a lot because that's how my life is currently going on. So yeah, I love that movie and I recommend everybody to watch it.
Yes, it's a good movie. Awesome. Good recommendation. Dhruv, same question for you. If your life were to be a book or a movie character, what would it be?
Honestly, movies is probably one of the things I least watch. I'm just a sports guy, so I end up watching a lot of sports.
Then a sports character maybe or a sports personality.
Yeah, and if I, yeah, so a sports personality, I think Roger Federer for me, definitely just, yeah, class personified, and makes difficult things look easy because he's put in a lot of work. So that would be it.
Good, Roger Federer and intern. Good choices. If you have both of you, okay, first maybe Dhruv, you, what legacy do you want to leave behind, personally or professionally? That people, when they think of Dhruv or they talk about Dhruv, what is that you want them to remember you?
Yeah, I think there an inspiration is definitely my grandfather. And, he worked till his very last day. He started the company when he was 43. So he worked till he was 85, and was a late entrepreneur, but a very successful one. And more than 2,000 people turned up at his funeral. So for me, the legacy is just about building something that lasts. I would love for Pant Project when I'm 80 and have grandchildren to still be around as a brand and have the brand outlive you.
That's a very good legacy. I'm sure your brand will outlive you. So, Pallavi, same thing for you. What is your legacy that you
Hema,
leave
I
behind?
have the exact same answer that you mentioned. I want to build PALMONAS into a legacy and create a lot of value for my customers, for my shareholders. And I feel I am fortunate enough that I have this opportunity to do this and all the resources to do this. So just putting my 100% into making it happen.
Awesome. Thanks, Pallavi. Dhruv. I think legacy, I think, and especially as founders, that's what you work towards, that hopefully you build a
Yeah,
big enterprise and leave a legacy and your
yeah,
customers talk about you all the while.
yeah.
If both of you could go back in time, right, and tell your younger self one thing, right, what would that be? Like today's sitting, if you had to go and tell Pallavi 10, 15 years ago something different, what would that be? Pallavi, you, and maybe Dhruv, then you. Same question.
Hema, honestly, I wouldn't do things differently even if I go back in time. I feel I have loved every single aspect of my journey, be it a high or a low of it. And I think that together constitute where I am today. So I wouldn't want to change anything. I think the mantra that I have been, growing up with is just, whatever you feel is right, just do it. And I think that's something that I follow till today, and I think I'll keep doing it.
I think I
Nice,
would go
Pallavi.
back and tell my younger self to be more patient. I think very impatient in wanting to see results really quickly. And I think as a founder, that's a good thing. But as a young entrepreneur, you kind of want to make things happen overnight, and good things take time. So there's nothing wrong with, yeah, giving it time. I think in the younger generation too, people expect you to make an impact within a year or two at a company. I tell everyone who joins us, listen, your first and second year, you're going to be learning the business. You're going to be, learning the ropes. The second, third, fourth, fifth years are when you can really contribute. I think having that longer term horizon is definitely really helpful.
Got it. Thanks, Dhruv. Thanks, Pallavi. I'm just going to take a couple of questions that have come in chat box and in the Q&A from the audience. And I think one question that most people would want to know is, uh, there's a lot of interest to start your own startup but I think the question is, folks are not able to decide in which field should I take an initiative. And we don't really have a roadmap of becoming an entrepreneur. So kindly guide us, like how do you decide this is the field or this is the white space? Like how did you, I'm sure both of you, because of your own personal experiences, since you couldn't find something, but if somebody is going to just want to start their own thing, any suggestions of how do you zero down at that idea that you should pursue?
I'll try to answer.
I feel sorry, go on.
No, go ahead, Pallavi.
No, I was just saying for me, I think the most important point is not to start, but which will help you sustain in that journey is the passion for the idea. So if you're becoming an entrepreneur for just the sake of it, then then journey is very, very difficult. But if you're actually doing something that you're really, really passionate about, you'll figure things out on the way. So I think the first question that you need to ask yourself is, what are you really passionate about? And then the second thing is, figure out where you feel is the need or a gap in a particular sector that you're interested in. Say, for example, taking my own example, when I wanted to do something in D2C or something in fashion, I studied a lot of sectors. Jewelry was one of it, and then I saw there is imitation jewelry already, which is a huge industry. Then there is fine jewelry, which is again a big industry. But from price point perspective, there's a huge gap. From quality perspective, there's a huge gap between the two, right? So there's a wide space in between where there's nobody operating, and that can be my niche, and that can be something that I completely own. So then figure that out, and then you start putting all your efforts on that. So I think figuring the right space and figuring your passion and marrying them together is a I think is a good starting point.
Great, Pallavi. Thanks.
After
Dhruv,
what
yes.
Pallavi is saying, she's spot on about the passion. I think that links to what you're good at also. If you're passionate
Yeah.
about something, you're likely to get better at it and continue being good at it. I think finding that intersection of need and ability is super critical to being an entrepreneur in the long term.
Thanks, Dhruv. The next question is specifically for you. There's somebody who's doing MBA in marketing, and the question is, how do you decide what marketing activities do you use to make the customer feel confident about the first purchase? I think the question is not very clear, but I think the person is trying to understand how do you decide what marketing activities, initiatives to be to ensure that the customer makes the first purchase of the product.
Yeah. We're really lucky to be living in a time where Instagram, Facebook, Google, YouTube are these mega microphones. So we can reach all of India with just the click of a button. And I think that's our biggest channel to educate customers about our product and brand. In terms of how do you build trust, it does take a lot of education to build trust in the customer's mind. And so in custom made pants or in pants in general online, and now our business is both custom and ready to wear, right? It's about education on things like sizing. And so we build size guides with detailed videos, education about the fabrics, going into the detail about what features it has, what benefits it has. And I think that builds trust over time. I do think also long term, and Pallavi talked about going into retail, omni-channel is a way to amplify trust, where you can make a first purchase offline or see the product, try it offline, and then buy online. And I think if you had to ask me long term, the mix of online and offline marketing is what gives you a long lasting brand, at least in apparel as a category.
Got it, got it. Thanks, Dhruv. Now this question, Pallavi, I'll ask you. There's a question which is around financial structuring. For example, how would does the financial structure of a startup work in cycles of operation? How do you decide which instrument to use? Basically, I think people are asking for a startup, how do you make some financial decisions or choices, or the structure is different? Any instrument in particular you go after? How do you decide, from a finance perspective, how do you really look at the working capital and the funding for a startup?
Okay, so this is related to fundraise, I'm assuming. So I think the first step would be to bootstrap for some time, uh, get a basic product market fit, understand whether your idea is really scalable or not, and get some kind of traction, early traction. And once you get that confidence that you're now ready to scale from, say, 1 crore a month to 10 crore a month, and for that you need more capital, then you start hunting for capital. Now there could be different routes. One can be VC capital, which is equity capital, and the second can be debt capital. If you're able to raise debt capital, I think that's the safest way to raise capital without diluting a lot of equity in the early stage of the company. If not, and if the capital requirement is more, depending upon what you really want to spend the capital on, then the easiest option is to go and raise from VCs, early stage VCs. That gives you runway to do a lot of experiments, to try a lot of new things, and figure out which is the thing that you want to focus on, and then put all your monies and brains and strategy on. And then from there, then it can be a mix of equity and debt capital. So I think start in a bootstrap manner, figure things out, get the PMF, then go out, raise funds, prove more in terms of numbers, in terms of scalability, then raise more capital, and then then the journey continues. This is how I basically did it to my startup, but Dhruv can add to it.
We bootstrapped for 4 years also, and I think the discipline that surviving off your own customers' money gives you is, even once you are venture funded, very valuable.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that also teaches you the importance of being profitable, right? So your business should be self-sustainable. That should be the mantra, without any external capital infusion. For hyper growth, it's a different story, but for sustenance, your business should be self-sustainable. If you're able to achieve that, I think you can build your own business for a very long time.
Thanks, Dhruv. Thanks, Pallavi. We have a lot of students on the call also, right? If you were to just give some tips, or what are some of the skills, right? Now, if you look in hindsight, if some skills or some things that you would suggest students of today to really focus on, either through college education or through the ecosystem which is there, what should they focus on? Whether they take a corporate job or they decide to become an entrepreneur, given the ecosystem is so involved, so much of social media friends is there. If you're a student today, is there any suggestion or a tip of how can they really build themselves or prepare themselves for the future world, whether corporate or their own startup? Anything that you think you would want to give them as a tip or an advice?
I think in today's world, especially in startups, I think we really value niche talents. So, for example, if somebody is a very, very good content creator, who knows anything and everything around content creation, that resource would be valued a lot more than somebody who has studied at NIFT or NID. Okay, so I think today people hire a lot more on the basis of the practical experience, practical talent, and practical, how much time you've actually spent on learning those specific talents. So what my suggestion would be, whatever field that you are really interested in terms of pursuing your career, just try and be the masters at it. Like, whatever softwares are needed to that you need to know, whatever internships that you need to do. I think you should, like, first zero down on a sector that you want to work in, and then figure out that what I need to do to become a very attractive resource for any, the biggest company in that sector. So that's what my advice would be.
Yeah, I think
Great. Thanks, Pallavi. Dhruv, yeah.
When I was young, I used to always refer to this like T-shaped model of skill development, and a T has a long vertical line which is depth in any one area. For me, that was finance, and that's just something I naturally tended towards. But that could be marketing, technology, operations, whatever each one is interested in. And it's also got a horizontal base, which is a little bit of skills in different areas. And I think as an entrepreneur, at least you have to do a little bit of everything. You have to at least be able to understand a bit of everything. You might have someone who's the expert in it, the best content creator. For example, content is not something I actually personally understand as well as a lot of folks do. I think my brother understands that much better, and that's why having a co-founder with balanced skills also really helps. But having a bit of breadth of knowledge also is helpful. And I think when you're young, you don't really know what's the one thing that I'm best at. Often it's not that obvious, and so exploring a few different things is always a good way to come upon, hey, I'm actually good at this. There's nothing wrong when you're young in meandering. Everyone thinks of a career as a very straight line, like I want to do this, I should do this. I think you have to meander a bit when you're young, and that's the beauty of being in your teens or early 20s. You can sort of have that freedom to explore different things.
Awesome. Thanks, Dhruv. I think, yeah, that's what a lot of organizations, especially Myntra, also does that. Like we try and look at interns who we hire and then we train and then we give them opportunities. I think internship these days is far more common, and I think it's a great way for people to, and like you said, Dhruv, experiment, figure out what you actually truly like. Because classroom education can only teach you as much, right? There's a lot more of that goes behind the classroom education. But I'm just conscious of time, and we also have a few quizzes to run. So I'll take this opportunity to really thank Dhruv, Pallavi for taking out time for having this conversation. And I can see almost everybody has stayed through the end of the session. So this means a lot about the quality of discussion. So really appreciate you taking out time and being here with us. I'm sure everybody on the call has had some takeaway. Personally, I've also had some takeaways from the session. So really thank you so much, Dhruv and Pallavi, for doing this with us. Any last words from you before I hand over to Preeti to do the quiz with the participants?
No, it was absolute pleasure, Hema. Thank you so much for having us today in this session. And everybody who attended the session, hope it added some value, and we've been able to inspire some, some amount of entrepreneur inside you. Whenever you need any help, we are reachable on LinkedIn. If you're looking for any internships, please reach out to us. Would be happy to help. Yeah, Dhruv.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a lovely session. Thank you for hosting this. And I think in terms of LinkedIn, I write every week on LinkedIn, and I think I write more so to clear my mind. I found writing to be a really useful tool to structure your thoughts. And then people have written to me and said, what you write is really helpful. And I'm like, that's great. It's a good byproduct that it's helpful. But I'm actually writing my 6 a.m. morning thoughts and just clearing the junk out from my head into a structured, format of understanding what's going on in life and business. In terms of reaching out to, yeah, always looking for really sharp, ambitious, young folks who want to learn. So feel free to reach out. We'd happy to chat.
Thanks, Dhruv. Thanks, Pallavi.
I also
One thing
wanted
I'll
to
guarantee
just
is just go
say
ahead, Bhadra.
something. So, no, this is amazing. Thank you so much, Dhruv. Pallavi, my name is Madhura. I'm sorry. I sort of got a little delayed because my last meeting spilled over a bit. But I am the founder and CEO of Aspire for Her. We started with a mission to add 1 million women to the workforce by 2025, and we just hit 1 million last month. So it's been
That's
a really, really
amazing.
good story. Thank you. We'd love to welcome all of you also to Aspire for Her. I think our partnership with Myntra has been amazing. We are building a community with them. It's one of the most popular, fastest growing communities that we have. It's called She-commerce. And I think this is just one example of getting all of those women more excited about charting out their own paths, charting out entrepreneurial paths, and also looking at options like employment options, internship options, and all of that. So I'd just love to make a quick announcement here because Entreprenari and as Myntra has been working very beautifully with us through their Min Shakti initiative as well. Entreprenari is our community of women entrepreneurs and all allies. And it is so beautiful to see your businesses and beautiful products. I was just wanting to, order from both of you. So after this is over, I'm going to use my phone to do that. But we have a beautiful Mela happening in Bangalore. So for anybody who's in Bangalore, we'd love to welcome you to the Entrepreneur Mela. If you want to support women-owned businesses, if you want to support, women who are trying to add to the women's economy, and folks who are trying to actually unleash the trillion-dollar potential of Indian women, which unfortunately today we are not really extracting to the maximum. If India wants to become a $30 trillion economy by 2047, then we have to work towards this. So thank you so much. I really enjoyed the conversation, and would just like to end with welcoming everyone to our Mela on December 3rd and 4th. We are on district, so please don't forget to take a look at that. And Dhruv and Pallavi, in case you're in Bangalore on those dates, then we would love to have you as our honored guest, definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Hema.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dhruv and Pallavi, for such wonderful insights. And thank you for sharing your personal journeys and the challenges that faced and overcame. So we're sure that the community is feeling super inspired and charged. And we truly believe at Aspire for Her that if someone can see it, they can be it. So now we have a quiz coming up, and it's going to be fastest fingers first. So for members joining through LinkedIn Live, please give your answers in the Google form that's going to be shared. And the answers will be evaluated, and we'll be announcing the winners soon in the coming weeks. So requesting Farisha to please put up the quiz. So if you've been listening to our esteemed panelists, I'm sure this is going to be a cakewalk. So we have a question. PALMONAS is famous for which type of jewelry that gives a premium look without the premium price? The long-lasting finish of PALMONAS jewelry comes from which process? The Pant Project was born with a mission to make, I think the whole question is not clearly visible. Okay, was mission to make pants. So is it custom made and perfectly fitted? Is it only in quirky prints, or is it specifically for weddings, or it's only for athletes? The next question is, which quirky feature made the Pant Project stand out in its early days? Shraddha Kapoor has been spotted wearing pieces from which brand? Is it PALMONAS? Is it the Pant Project? Is it both? Or is it none of the above? Both brands disrupt traditional categories. So what do customers love most about them? So make sure that you are correct and super fast in answering these questions. We'll keep it open for a few more seconds. We also have an exciting opportunity to avail of mentorship sessions with Dhruv and Pallavi. We've put the form in the chat, so requesting all of you to fill the form so that you can avail of this amazing opportunity. We can probably close the quiz. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in today and being such an enthusiastic audience. We have many more exciting sessions planned for the community, which will give you an opportunity to not only learn, but also interact with industry leaders. And thank you once again, Dhruv, Pallavi, and Hema, for such an insightful panel discussion and sharing your journeys and experiences with us. Thank you to Pooja Godke for working so seamlessly with us in bringing these events to our community. And we look forward to seeing all of you soon in our next ShE-commerce session. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. In the chat, we are sharing a couple of links here, so do take time out. We would love for all of to be a part of the she-commerce community because, like I said again, and Preeti's mentioned that the entire aim is to, help and, kind of give you guidance at every step possible. So if once you're part of the she-commerce community, we will be receiving regular updates. So thus we do exciting stuff with, the Myntra team. They come up with we do exciting ideas for entrepreneurs or student level or any learning levels. We're also curating many more interesting sessions. So there we do not have a WhatsApp group, Aishwarya, because it kind of limits it. So we do have a Telegram group, links to which have been shared. So we're going to take about 30 seconds and post the links once again. So there's a Telegram group, there's a she-commerce group, and then there's the mentorship form. So I would recommend that everybody who's looking forward to mentorship, because these kind of sessions and one-on-one sessions will definitely help. We will evaluate. There are limited, opportunities. I do apologize for that, but the intent is to, kind of keep on bringing such similar opportunities to everyone. So do fill out the form. Give us a couple of weeks, and we'll evaluate the answers and, come back to all of you. Join in the Telegram group, and you will stay updated. With this, I'm not sure if I can see Hema. Felicia, is Hema here or she left?
No, I don't see her.
Okay.
Yeah, Hema
Okay,
is not.
so I'll be posting all of these links in the Telegram group as well. So do, go there and fill up the form if anybody is looking forward to attend, getting a mentorship session. So a big thank you to everyone, and thank you for joining us once again today. Thank you, Dhruv.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Pallavi.
Thank you, Dhruv and Pallavi. Thank you so much. Thanks,
Thank
Pooja.
you.
Thank you, Madhura.
Thank you,
Bye.
Madhura.
Thank you, everyone.